very big theme which we feel that India is, India will have. India is a beneficiary because PM's Jan Dhan program has almost 90% of the population is now having digital IDs. Now they are actually coming into that formalization net, and the bottom of pyramid, now they are getting used to the formal credit. So this is a very big trend which is happening in India, and we feel that this will continue over a longer period of time, because that population is very large in India, and as they graduate in terms of their income pyramid, that will benefit some of the financial institutions which are catering to these kind of companies. So we are bullish on, say, small finance bank in this space. Secondly, we have also seen how the broking demat accounts have increased over a period of time. So pre-COVID to this to 2024, if we see, demat accounts have almost quadrupled. So that's a massive jump which has happened. So that is also because of the digitization which is taking place in the country, and some of the formalization of credit, if we see. So I think the companies which are catering to these kind of themes, like broking, MF distributions, AMC companies. So these will be the major beneficiaries. Payment gateways. These will be the major beneficiaries, as this theme is likely to last long over a longer period of time. So Quantum, as a fund house, we have an exposure of around 21% to these themes. In this, major exposure would be towards a BFSI segment, because as we see that, as the formalization of credit takes place, because from our data, we see that disbursements to bottom of pyramids have increased at 30% CAGR, as against a normal credit growth of 15% CAGR. So this trend, if it continues, then these banks, or the banks catering to these kind of companies, NBFCs catering to these kind of bottom of pyramid customers, will be the beneficiaries. Apart from that, we also have exposure to AMCs, or some of the other companies which are beneficiaries of this theme. So we speak about ICE to EVs. So in that, the major sectors which fall are automobiles, auto ancillaries, and industrials. Herein, we feel auto ancillaries would be the major beneficiary. So within ICE to EVs, there are few other themes also which are working on. So we are seeing the premiumization taking place in India. We have seen most the SUV growth has accelerated. Even the premium bike growth is much faster than the entry level bike growth. So that is largely because the increasing per capita consumption, or the increasing awareness amongst the Indian consumer. So even if we see, EV penetration is improving in India, although at a gradual pace. So by 2030, at least two-wheeler entire will be EVs. In PVs, it is expected that around 20% of the PVs will be EVs. We feel the companies which are catering to these kind of trends will have a better bill of material with their OEMs. So the OEMs are the one which are automobile manufacturers, and that is that will drive the growth for them, not only on the top line as well as on the margin expansion, because if the bill of material increases, then there is an operating leverage which also kicks in over a period of time. And again, India is also looked as a export hub. So it is also looked as a low cost manufacturing hub. So the companies which are catering to those kind of themes, I think those will be beneficiaries. And Quantum, we as a fund house, we in this scheme, we are having around 9% exposure to this thought process, or this mega trend. So this part is, so capex is something which is the capital goods, or this that has given the maximum return in the past 3 to 4 years, and in that everything is included, the railways or defense or power, anything which you see capex related, and that has given multiple returns in the past year. But amongst that, we feel that power distribution is one theme which is very which has a potential to grow even we find, some of the companies offer good are trading at a good valuation. So we have built an exposure in this theme. So here the main, the sectors which are benefited are power equipment manufacturers, smart meter manufacturers, as well as cable manufacturers, because India will have is likely to have renewable capacity setup, around 350 gigawatt by 2030. So to support this kind of investment, India has to have distribution capex. So we have seen, transmission line capacity almost doubling in last 4 years, or PGCIL capex, which was almost stagnant for the last decade. Now that is taking a leap, and that is likely to double over next 3 to 4 years. So this sector is coming out of consolidation, out of very long-term consolidation. So therefore, what has happened in because there was lackluster demand for almost a decade, and now demand has improved, many of the weak hands have gone out of the system. So there has been a consolidation in this segment, and which we feel that whoever the players which are remained in this segment will be the major beneficiaries. So so therefore we have built a exposure to this segment. Also, there are export opportunities as we speak. There are companies which are getting beneficiaries of export. So in this week, I'll just mention the smart meter manufacturer, because we, as of now, we were not having any formal meters, or the meters were not as efficient. But with the recent government's initiatives, government has already tendered around 5 crores of smart meters, and the likely tendering which is going to happen over next 3 to 4 years is around 25 crores. So that's a massive opportunity which is coming into the smart meter, and this is to support the entire capex which is happening in T&D. So basically, government has a mandate to reduce this T&D losses, and that is likely to benefit these kind of players. So therefore, quantum as a we have built an exposure of around 6.5% or so to this scheme, which we feel, there are a long-term growth drivers to this theme. So increasing per capita consumption, though, so this is talked many a times, but we feel that now India is at a that position wherein we have already crossed that 2,000 per dollar per capita consumption, $2,000 per capita consumption, and we in the past, whoever country have crossed that kind of per capita consumption, there the consumption, or the growth has accelerated substantially. So we feel India is now in that position wherein the growth is likely to accelerate much faster, and the segments which are likely to benefit from this trend are likely, the consumer durables, healthcare, travel and tourism. So durables, as we all know, still India has less penetration. Many of the products we are much less penetrated as compared to developed worlds, or even the developing countries. But over a period, as per capita consumption increases, we feel that this durable penetration is likely to increase, and India will be the beneficiary. So the companies which are in that space will be the beneficiary. Secondly, healthcare is, again, this is one space wherein India is still very, very unorganized, and the penetration levels are still very poor. But as the insurance penetration is increasing, and the healthcare facility itself are improving, the reach is improving, we think that this segment is likely to likely to grow over a longer period of time, and therefore we have taken some exposure to healthcare facilities also. Secondly, travel, we have seen post-COVID has increased substantially. So we have seen, there was a almost like hockey stick growth in the travel and tourism. We have seen utilization levels for hotels and this airline companies increasing. But still, like if we see 3 to 4 year CAGR, we are barely, matching that nominal GDP growth rate kind of this thing. So now we have reached to that normalized growth rate. From here on, we feel that the growth will continue because there's factors like the per capita consumption growth and increasing awareness. Even foreign travels has is now increasing in India. So these are some of the factors which we feel that this will accelerate growth or will maintain growth in these kind of segments, and therefore we have taken exposure around 11% exposure to this theme. So the next is like global outsourcing. So India has, we have seen, post-COVID, this has accelerated. So services, India was always known as a low-cost producer, and India has, grown. So we have seen the export of services has grown, and even at the current India has one of the largest young population, working age population, which is likely to remain, which is likely to continue. So, China has already peaked, and most of the developed countries, if we see, they have almost peaked in their working age population increase. However, India, we are in that sweet spot wherein our working age population will support the growth, and India has a potential to become a global manufacturing hub. Now, as we have seen, so for services, as digitization increase and AI penetration increases, we have built some exposure to the information technology companies, wherein those will be the beneficiaries, or they are focused on the current trend which is happening in the global market. Apart from that, pharma and chemicals are these two segments are there, wherein we feel that China plus one is working, and this global outsourcing will benefit India because India has emerged as a low-cost production house. Now the vendors are looking at China plus one post-COVID, whatever we have seen, and therefore the companies which are catering, which have capability to match those kind of cost with China, they will be the beneficiary. So as of now, we have in this team we have more exposure towards IT, information technology.